A day in the life of an Ires participant. From setting up mist nets to knocking down Skittles, this video aims to portray an average day at our field site, Kumali Farm, located in Australia's Northern Territory. Let's get started. A day for an Ires participant starts, well, early. After quickly dressing by the light of a headlamp, it's time for a filling breakfast of yogurt and muesli. After loading up into the van, it's time to head into the field. Despite being up before the sun, a couple of pump-up songs, and everyone's ready for the day. Stepping out of the van, we're greeted by the day. Our next task? To go and find some wrens. We do this mostly by listening for them, since they're pretty small and hard to see in the dim light of the dawn. They sound like this. A sort of warbled trill, you might say. Wrens don't sing all the time, though. Sometimes they make chipping noises. These are called contact calls. It's the bird's way of saying, "Hey, I'm here, where are you?" Hear all that chirping? Those are contact calls. After finding birds, we set up a mist net. This is a super fine mesh net strung up between two poles. Because the weave of the net is so fine, it's hard to see, hence why it's called a mist net. The idea is that birds will be unable to see the net and fly into it. Don't worry, this doesn't hurt the birds at all. After they're caught, trained individuals carefully extract the birds, being sure to handle them with care. Once we've caught wrens, we process them. First, we give them a metal band with a unique identification number, followed by a unique combination of 3 color bands. We use these color bands to identify individual birds in the field. Next, we take morphometric measurements, such as bill width, wing length, weight, and how many parasites they have. We also note whether they are in dull or bright plumage, or in some cases molting. Finally, we take a small blood sample that we use for genetic analyses so we can assess paternity and relatedness among the birds in our population. The whole process takes no more than 5 minutes, and then the birds are sent on their merry way. Of course, no field day is complete without breaking for a proper Australian tea. Our favorite part? Tim Tam slams. Sipping coffee through a chocolate-coated biscuit, then popping the whole warm cookie in your mouth at once. Perfection. Another important aspect of fieldwork is assessing habitat. We do this so we can analyze different areas and determine what ecological parameters best predict wren presence. Using a standardized process, we quantify plots of vegetation by assessing grass and canopy cover, whether the plot is burned or unburned, and by counting number of trees, species, and the height of these trees. Only problem is, sometimes there are a lot of trees.
13 flat, 38.6, 67, 4.5.
Finally, after a long hard day, we unwound with a bonfire and some light-hearted competition. The Aussies introduced us to a game called Skittles. It's kind of like bowling, but instead of a ball, you have a stick. Of course, some of us were a little bit better than others.
Yep. Jordan, don't worry, you're only on camera. Oh my god!
Let's look at that again in slow motion. Like I said, some of us were a little bit better than others. I hope this video has shed a little more light on what it means to be an Ires participant, from the work that goes into it as well as the good times to be had. I'd like to thank Drs. Jordan Karubian, John Swaddle, and Mike Webster for their invaluable guidance throughout this whole process, as well as Sam Lance for her undying patience and knowledge of the Tim Tam Slam. I'd also like to thank my fellow Ires participants and of course our sponsor, the National Science Foundation.